Learning various instructional design theories will help you develop more meaningful online courses. This will provide you with a firm grasp on how the human mind absorbs, assimilates, and retains information. Thus, you will be able to provide online learning experiences that offer real-world value. Here are 7 top instructional design theories that you may want to think about for your course design. In this session, we're going to be covering situated cognition, social cultural learning, the ADDIE model, Merrill's principles, individualized instruction, Bloom's taxonomy, and the SAM model. The situated cognition theory first came into being in 1989, but its principles are still just as applicable today. Essentially, the theory is based on the concept that you cannot separate knowing from doing. It also stresses how important it is for people to apply the things they learn within a clear context. It stipulates that learning is a social endeavor that gives people the opportunity to expand their knowledge through discussions and group problem-solving tasks. The original work detailing the social cultural learning theory was written in the early 1930s. Due to political turmoil under Stalin and translation issues, it took a long time for it to become widely known. The theory revolves around 3 critical elements. These are cultural, language, and the zone of proximal development. It suggests that our environment plays a crucial part in a learner's development. For example, peers have the power to influence how a learner thinks or feels about a particular subject. The ADDIE model stands for Analyze, Design, Develop, Implement, and Evaluate. The ADDIE model was first designed in 1975 for the U.S. Army by the Center for Educational Technology at Florida State University. It is comprised of the 5 factors that we noted, which help instructional design professionals tackle e-learning projects and stages. ADDIE tackles e-learning development rather than learning behaviors. It allows instructional designers to delve into the needs, learning objectives, and desired outcomes so as to create more personalized online resources. Merrill's theory of the principles of instruction is based on the different ways learning can be facilitated. Each phase in the learning process has an important role to play. There are 4 core phases of learning: demonstration, activation of previous knowledge, application, and integration into real-world challenges. The approach is task-centered. This theory also involves scaffolding, whereby learners are gradually introduced to more complex ideas and concepts as the lesson progresses. As the name implies, the individualized instruction theory revolves around the individual and how they learn. If you are learning something and catch on quickly, you can keep going. However, if you are not connecting with the material, the theory allows you to go at your own pace. It also accounts for learners who respond better to different learning preferences. Individualized instruction centers on 4 key principles. Learners should be able to complete the work autonomously. As a result, they have the opportunity to focus on their own strengths and areas for improvement. Each lesson should be followed by an assessment to gauge learner progress. Written learning materials are preferred over presentations. And facilitators support learners and add a level of social interactivity to the experience. The well-known theory of Bloom's taxonomy of learning objectives was first developed in the 1950s. While some contemporary theories focused on pure memorization of facts, Bloom focused on the cognitive domain. The portion of the theory moves up a hierarchy of processes starting at the most basic. These specific processes include remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. The SAM instructional design model allows the instructional designer to make changes by performing small steps in multiple iterations. You begin with the short preparation phase, where information on the course is gathered. You then move to the iterative design and iterative development, where the design is created and reviewed. This process allows for more flexible designs with rapid changes as the e-learning project moves forward. Ideally, the instructional design theory you choose should align with the needs of your online learners and your learning objectives. We will discuss learning objectives in a future segment. The subject matter also plays a pivotal role in the process. For example, a course that calls for problem-based training may require Merrill's principles of instruction. Individualized instruction, on the other hand, is great for personalized learning paths that rely on self-paced studies. In this session, we discussed situated cognition, sociocultural learning, the ADDIE Model, Merrill's principles of instruction, individualized instruction, Bloom's taxonomy, and the SAM model. The key in picking out your instructional design is to identify your students' potential expectations and needs beforehand so that you can narrow down the list of potential design theories. Then determine which one supports the learning behaviors and desired outcomes of your course. For questions about this training session or other questions you might have, you can reach me at christopher.nigel.lee@asu.edu.
This week we're going to be looking at continuing on our Camtasia 9 videos. We're going to be talking about annotations really quick here. So say for instance you wanted to go ahead and have something that points out and talks about a certain section. I'm going to go ahead and click on hold and drag into the timeline this call out right here. Now as you see that we have a number of different ways of how this call out is going to work. If we can go ahead and keep the position the way it is, shift it over this way, but if we're talking about something over here in this sidebar, we want to go ahead and rotate that around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rotate it. You can either rotate it on the y-axis or on the x-axis, which, okay, we don't really need to do that. Or on the z-axis, and you can see as soon as you switch over to the other side, it'll give you it'll switch the text over to where it's always right side up. I'm going to make sure that that's at a negative 180 degrees, right in there. And then to change, and now to change the ABCs, click on the text right here. Find the text that you want to use. I'm going to use the ASU text. So, and on my other screen I have the color palette always brought up, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the eyedropper right there. Make sure I got the, on this time I got the gold picked out, but you can have it any way you want. Now on the actual, and then if you want to go ahead and change the color of the arrow, just like that right there. Back to the call out itself. Double click within the lettering and go ahead and add in your text the way you like it. Now, next week we're going to be continuing on with other annotations, behaviors, and voice narrations for Camtasia 9.